Hi guys, this is Anne. Your girl is back to review another excellent K-drama. And to my Korean friends, annyeonghaseyo. So today we're going to be reviewing Hi Bye Mama. And off the top, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer out there. This program is not for the faint at heart. Oh my God, this will take your heart, rip it to pieces, put it back together. This is a story about a mother who is being played by Kim Tae-hee, and she's pregnant with her daughter, and it ends up being hit by a car, and she dies, but they're able to save the daughter. And her husband, who's being played by Kyu-hyung, I believe that's how you say it, which, by the way, I'm also watching another show about a jailhouse. I think it's Playground Jailhouse, something like that. It's on Netflix. I'll review that next. But he's on there also doing excellent work. He's an excellent actor. But what we find out is once she passes away, she stays on Earth as a ghost. And while she's on Earth as a ghost, she's able to follow her husband, who, let's just say, is going through tremendous grief. Her family, she's following her mother, and then as well as her daughter, who is being raised by now the stepmother. He had to end up getting married so that to help raise the daughter. And also it was suggested by the friends, please get married. Even the in-laws were like, please get married so you can move on. And they do an excellent job of just really going in on like grief. I feel like they went through like all the 5 stages of grief. I mean, this poor man, they really showed just what you go through from, you're in denial. He couldn't believe it. He's a doctor, and when the wife gets into a car accident, he was doing another surgery and they couldn't get a hold of him. So by the time he comes out of surgery, he finds out this information, and it's like, no way, and obviously as a doctor, he's like, I'm gonna go try and save her. And obviously it's too late. And the only thing they could save was the child, who was a daughter. And I just felt like they did a great job as far as going through the stages of grief, really. If you've ever lost a loved one, this show is not for the faint of heart. I would actually recommend, this is not one you want to binge watch. If you do binge watch, your family may find you on the floor crying your balls out because it's very heartbreaking. However, these moments of warmth and putting things back together. And I also feel like they were exploring some things that I think as human beings we would want. Like, you've had a loved one, so she's staying as a ghost. And at one point, she is like, why did I have to die? And it's almost like she's doing this prayer to higher up, to God. I'm a Christian, I believe in God, so, as in, why did I have to die? I want to be here to watch my child grow. I want to be here to support my mother, my husband, when they're going through a hard time. And actually, you got to keep watching at the show, but at one point, her prayer is heard, okay? And she comes back to life. You can imagine. Oh yeah, it's crazy. This show is crazy. So when she comes back to life briefly, so I have to think about it like a science fiction type situation, but it also makes you wonder if this was to actually happen in real life, like how would you respond, right? So her family is like, what the? Even the husband is like, whoa, why do you look like my dead wife? But it's her, right? And we find out through the prayer she had asked to come back because it felt like she needed closure with everyone. The way she died, she never got a chance to say goodbye, which is another thing to think about. Like, in real life, there's times that people have passed away really fast where you felt like, oh, I could have asked him one more question, or maybe this, that, or the other. But we all know in real life, we don't get that choice. But in the show, they kind of explore that. What if you had the choice to come back? What would you do differently, you know? And which is kind of nice, which I liked, is that they did walk us through when she was able to come back to life and kind of explains to the family why she's there. And they're like, what? And then she tried to make it sound like she was gone and she didn't know where she was and now she's back. But you have to watch how she navigates through that and how the family navigates through that. And then, you know, how now that she knows, you know, what it's like to be gone and coming back, how she is not taking any day for granted, right? She's spending time with her daughter, her husband now, who it's a little weird because I remarried, have another wife. How do we navigate that? How they navigate through their love story with that? That was interesting to see. As well as her best friend who always missed her so much. And now she's back and how they hang out. And then she goes back to see her mom and dad. Oh my gosh, right? It felt like, wow, like, you know, nice that she gets a chance to have closure. However, as I was also watching it, I was like, maybe there's a reason why when people, you know, go, they don't come back. Just because it feels like, you know, we all know it's normal life that would never happen. And I was wondering how the writers would take this show to, does she get to stay now that she's back again? Or does she get to go again? And you have to watch that to find out, that she, now that the heavens have allowed her to stay, do they let her stay forever? Because she's come back to life, if you will. Ooh, eerie, right? Oh, however, or does she get to go? So that's something you have to watch to the end to find out. And also, I think was very interesting to find out, when we do find out why she came back, you'd be surprised to find out who it was that made her come back. When I watched this show, I felt like the person who wrote the script, I felt like he wanted us to go through like all the 5 stages of grief, right? The denial, the anger, the bargaining, the depression, and acceptance. You know, with anger, it felt like, you know, when she dies and she's still pregnant and not being able to see her unborn child, what the husband had to go through, her mother, her best friend, that was very heartbreaking, you know. And then there's a, you know, anger, even for her, because she's still a ghost and gets to sit and watch her loved ones mourn, you know, they're really like, you know, crying for her. And it's just, it's sad both ways. It's a very moving show. And then, you know, there's a place where you see bargaining, where there comes a point where she has to make the decision, does she stay when she comes back to life? Does she stay back to life, or does she die and move on? And actually, one of the reasons why she has to make that decision is if she does stay, there's a consequence to her daughter. Her daughter will have to see ghosts for the rest of her life. And now she, as a mother, has to make that decision. And so that's why you gotta watch to the end to see, does she choose life or what? Another topic that I felt like they really addressed was the love of a mother and what mothers are willing to do to sacrifice. Both her as a mother, both the stepmother who raises up the child as her own, as a mother, and then her own mother in losing her. I thought they really did a good job there of like really showing what mothers are willing to do for their children and that love and how strong that is, right? And then I also felt like there was a case of depression. Like he was a surgeon, and after his wife died, he never wanted to go back in the surgical room ever again. You know, just he got depressed. Even when he married his new wife, the stepwife, it almost felt like he only gave half his heart. Like they were cordial with each other, they raised their child well, but it felt like their marriage lacked that spark, you know, just because he was still mourning her and could just never let go, right? And then at the end, we also show, they really do a good job of showing acceptance. Like, I think we all, if you've loved someone and you've lost them, there come a point where you accept it has happened. And, the challenge is the living have to keep living, and the people who've passed away, we have to let them rest in peace. And that's the thing too, I feel like came through a lot is if you've ever had a loved one, how would you feel if the reason why they've not transitioned to heaven, the next life, wherever they go, because we don't know when you're living, you'd hate to feel like the reason why they have not transitioned and they're not resting in peace is because of us holding on, or because of something that they felt like they never finished. When they say rest in peace, you want to rest in, you want to let them rest in peace. So I think that also really came through you felt the idea of, wow, if there was anything that you did not have closure on, it may be wise to have closure on those things just because you want them to, rest in peace. But I thought it was a show that was very well done. Very, very emotionally draining, I would say. I would say 2 episodes at a time is a max. Otherwise, your family will find you on the floor. You may need therapy. This really, it rips your heart out and then it puts it back together and rips it again. I mean, that's what it felt like when you watched every episode. However, I believe it's worth exploring because this is part of life, being born, going through life, seasons of life, and also, death and passing on. And I thought it was interesting how they explored that and how they looked into what if you had choices? What choice would you make? There was one aspect at the time when she came back to life where it felt like cruel, in the fact that if she has to live again, that would mean they have to mourn a second time. And I was almost like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll just want the one time, because once is more than enough, way more than enough, having your heart being ripped out like that. The other character that we saw was, I thought the actor that played their daughter was this cutest little girl, which, by the way, I saw something in the internet that the actor who is who's playing the girl is actually a boy in real life. Let's take a look at that. So here's the trailer. So she's, as you can see, she's a ghost and she gets to hang around. I like how they show the things she missed. Although she's a ghost, nobody can see her. There's the husband. And she was like, did I just see my wife? What? And then let's see the daughter who, like I mentioned, they said that she is actually a boy in real life playing a girl. So that's the daughter of Kim Tae-hee's character. And from what I heard, it's actually a boy who is playing the role, and the actor's name is Seo Won-jin. So, but the girl's, I guess, is a boy. The boy has a beautiful smile, and it's so convincing that it's a girl, which I thought that was interesting. But that's what acting is. If you're really good, you should be able to play anything. So I'm not shocked when they do that. However, just really excellent show. So yeah, in conclusion, I would say it's a hard topic. However, very thought-provoking. We can't always be watching everything that is just fluff. That is not fluff. That actually came close to home, and it really, I think they did an excellent job of trying to deal with all those factors that we've all thought about death, and what if they had a chance to come back, and what if their ghost and when they pass away, they're ghosts and they follow you around, or do they actually go and rest in peace? I like that they explored all that, and I like that they really were not shy to go there with grief. Like they do, like I said, rip your heart apart and then put it back together again. And I feel like it was also done with respect and exploring all those things that if you've ever had a loved one and you've lost them, you know, that I wish. I feel like, you know, they went through all that stuff. And if you, as a mother, and if you have children, oh my gosh, this, you know, the way it says hi, bye, mama is really, if you're a mother, this is gonna hit another nerve. You're gonna need a lot of Kleenex for everybody. It's one of those shows you're gonna feel cleansed from crying, because it is really well done. And the actors, wow, they went there, you know, and they cry. Whew, that was really, it was hard. But, you know, as we all know, it's life, you know. In life, you have seasons. There's joy, happiness, tears, and this explore that other aspect that we may probably not always want to go there, but we also know that it is part of life. So yeah, give it a chance, watch it. Like I said, unless you're really, really strong, I would not recommend binge watching. I may say 1 or 2 episodes at a time, maybe more doable. However, if you're strong, you can go for it. But once again, well done. Called Hi Bye Mama on Netflix. Thanks for joining me again. I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Kamsamita. Deuces.